I also just have to point out, man, you do not talk differently to Black people. You have the
Right.
same voice, the same cadence, your vocabulary is the same, your pronunciation of words is the same. That's very rare
Yeah, yeah,
for
right.
white hosts.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like some of my favorite
I've seen it. Yeah,
podcasts, like
yeah.
the second Ice Cube or Ice T sits down, people are like, "Yeah, man!" Like their whole thing just, you know what I mean? And it's like, "Oh, just be yourself, please." Like you.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, yeah. No, like I'd rather look like a square just being me than trying to do that. You know what I mean? Because that's the lamest thing.
Well, man, there's something deeply dehumanizing with white people in general, that do that to people, but also in media. Like when somebody starts aiming their questions, or like,
Yeah,
here
right,
are
right.
black questions, or like, there's something just so limiting, and there's a really important, unspoken, intangible thing about you being the exact same person that, like, hey, we're
Right,
both just
right.
human beings, like, "Hey, you're a full human being. I'm a full human being." That's
Yeah,
all we
yeah.
need to connect with each other. You know what I mean? There's something about that I think is, it just really oozes through in all of
Oh,
these
thank you,
interactions, you
man.
know what I'm
Thank you.
saying?
Yeah.
That you're able to communicate with people in the hip hop space, and it's clear that, your knowledge of hip hop is really also broad. A lot of people that came up in that early 2000s, white dominant, hip hop space didn't bother to
Right.
listen to other hip hop. A lot of people were just like, "Nah, man, I know the good rap. I'm not listening to Lil Wayne, man." Like
I loved rap music, however it came from a really young age, and now that I look back on it, I think it was just, like, I liked stories. I remember, like, sitting in the car
Mm,
and my mom explaining the Beach Boys in my room, and she's like, "Oh, it tells the story," but and she told me, like, the story, I don't know how young I was, and I was like, "Oh my god, like, songs are stories." Like, so I remember that being, like, kind of a formative memory from a really, really, really young age, and then rap music when I could first
mm,
start to listen to it. Plus, I mean, I grew up like as a child of the 90s. It was just such a ridiculous, it was just such an amazing time to grow up in that genre. But it was just,
yeah, man.
I was like, oh my God, like the way the words, and then I could try to like figure out the meaning of the story. But it's just like hip hop to me just was like more of a narrative storytelling kind of like song thing. So that's what I think was like originally what I was interested in, and I think it was really a really formative and shaping thing for now because we do obsess about like the rhythm and syntax of words and the way that we write interview questions and how it should hit the ear and how it should flow and all of that. And I wonder to what degree like those seeds being planted have kind of like helped in the way that we write interview questions now. So I think about that all the time.